Yeah. Yep. It's time to go to sleep. Gotta get this word in real quick. How y'all doing? I had a good day. Mine was pretty good. This stuff started there. Sorry about being so late, people. Yeah, you know how work is. They want to do this, they want to do that. They need this done, that done. You gotta get it done, right? But God also want us to get something done. He want us to find out who we really are. Who, who we really are. Good night, people. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. So let's jump right into this, people. Jump right into this. Cause we got work call in the morning. I'm gonna come in the morning too. So we gotta get this done. Now, early this morning we was talking about righteousness of faith. Righteousness of faith. And it started with Abraham. Paul knew the writings in Genesis about Abraham, how God came to him, how the Lord spoke to him, even before, even before, even before the laws and promises was made. Now we gotta find out what are the promises. It's 48 of them. So you gotta look for that. You gotta know the promises. Then you gotta look at the the Abrahamic covenant. What is that? Circumcision. People, this thing did not just start with Jews. It did. Let's read. I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you something. Earlier this morning, we read in Romans, right? I'm gonna tie all that in, all right? We read in Romans 4, dealing with circumcision and uncircumcision, right? I want you to understand that in verse 13 of Romans chapter 4, we read this morning, for the promise that he should be the heir of the world, who? Abraham, was not to Abraham or to his seed through the law, but through the righteousness of faith. Where does the righteousness of faith come from? Where does it start? It starts with Abraham. Abraham was a Gentile. I'll show you proof. Righteousness of faith. Okay, this promise of heirship did not come through the law, but by the Abrahamic covenant of faith. Now, let's go to Genesis. Go to Genesis chapter 12. Genesis chapter 12. All the way back. And this is why Paul knew who he was, knew what he was talking about, and them Jews got mad because they didn't see it like that. So they went to running their mouth. They went to getting mad about what he said. So now they done went down there and told the church of Jerusalem what's going on, right? Fix clothes, man. I don't need to be sitting up here looking ragged. Now, so they done went down there and discussed this issue. Then they understand that, he told some others in Galatians about the law and about circumcision and this and that. They had a real big problem because they wanted to make those Gentiles be circumcised. But James was worried about the Jews following the law. The Jews was worried about the apostles, the Jewish apostles, was worried about them still having zeal for the law. Paul, on the other hand, was a Jew. But he was like, look, ain't nothing, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying we don't have to do that anymore. That's all I'm saying. Because of this and because of that and because of this and because of that. But here you go. Here you go. I'm going to say these Jewish people like church folks. No, you got to do it like this. You got to do it like this. You got to follow it to the letter. So, you mean to tell me Jesus disrupt everything they was doing in them synagogues, every ceremony that they was going by, the Sabbath, everything, disrupted that. A reason to serve God and not to tradition, not to the tradition, not the ceremony, not the ritual. He did everything in his power to say, hey, it don't go like that. I'm going to show y'all something. Go to Genesis chapter 12. But before we go to Genesis chapter 12, I want to let y'all know something. Abram, his name hadn't been changed to Abraham yet. Abram was a Gentile. How do I know? Go back to Genesis chapter 11, verse 1. And the whole earth was of one language, of one speech. And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they said, go to, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto the heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. Now, what just happened? Man, instead of man trying to figure out who he is, they want to try to figure out who God is in themselves. We too busy trying to play God and we don't even know why. They was trying to be gods. The only thing they had to do is get to know themselves in God. God is the creator. He created you. Why you gotta try and imitate God? Why you gotta try to be God? The reading says in verse 5, and the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of the men built. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they began to do. And now now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Everybody got their own destiny. That's how that started. Right there. Man want to create themselves into gods. So what happened? Now I'm gonna give them different languages where they can't even understand each other to do some foolishness like that. So now that's why we can't understand each other half the time, because we don't know who we are. This whole time they should have been trying to find out who they were, but they was trying to find out how they could be a god. That's all they was trying to do. Same thing we doing today with all this foolishness in the church, with all this foolishness in the world, because we don't know who we are. But guess what? Abraham knew. Verse 7, go to, let us go down, understand one another. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of the earth, and they left off to build the city. They left off to build the city. Therefore, the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth. And from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth, Gentiles, Jews, Israelites, Baptists, Kojic, Pentecostal, all of that. When everybody at one time was Gentile. So if we follow all the way to verse 12 to chapter 12, we're gonna learn that Abraham, out of a whole bunch, out of his family, was the only one that believed in God. And he had converted other people. How did Abram know God like that? Righteousness of faith. Abram knew himself. So he can follow God that way because he knew himself in God, because God spoke to him. Check this out, people. Before Abram was told by the Lord to get off around his kindred, his dad had died in Aram, in Haran. Okay, he died there. But before he died, check this out. In verse 30 of chapter 11, it says, but chapter 29, and Abram and Nahar took them wives. The name of Abraham's wife was Saria, Sarai, my bad. And the name of Nahar's wife, Malachah, the daughter of Haran, and the daughter of Haran, the father of Malachah, and the father of Ishak. But Sarai was barren. She had no child. And Tara took Abram, his son, and Lot, the son of Abram, his son's son, and Sarai, his daughter-in-law, his son, Abraham's wife, and they went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldeans to go to the land of Canaan, and they came unto Haran and dwelt there. And the days of Tara were 205 years, and Tara died in Haran. Why did Tara leave from where he was in Ur? Because in Ur, they were tripping. Because once they get into Haran, they were tripping too. They were dealing in idols and stuff like that. Listen to this. Haran was located in the northern east of Mesopotamia on the river Balicia, about 60 miles above its confluence with the river Euphrates. It was a trade center on the route from Nevaeh to Carchemish, and the chief seat of worship of the moon god Sin. The moon god Sin. Here is where Isaac and Jacob got their wives, and where the latter brought up most of his family. All right. I said that to say this. The Lord spoke to Abram in Ur, and his father listened to Abram. I'll show you. I'm trying to show y'all how this thing got started. So you can't be sitting up here thinking you all of this, you all of that, Baptist and Israelite and Jew and all that. All that doesn't matter when it comes to the truth. The truth is, none of you Negroes matter. None of you. So it don't matter what you are or what you say you are. It only matters how you know yourself. Who are you? Now, chapter 12 of Genesis. Now the Lord has said, get thee out of the country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house unto the land that I have showed thee. Now, from Acts 7 and 2, we learn that God first called Abram before he went to Aram. From Joshua 24 and 2, we learn that Tara, his family, were idolaters. Previous to this call, it was Tara that took Abraham and others to go to Canaan. Tyra seemed to have become converted to Abram's God and desired to flee idolatry and persecution from his neighbors. In this case, Abram was not as disobedient as he is generally pictured. So now we come to see why they left. Okay. Now we understand this. It predicted that Abraham and his seed would be many and be blessed forever, that all nations will be blessed through Christ, the promised seed, all nations. So who are you? Verse 2, I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, curse them that curse thee, and in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. All families. It was already predicted that the Gentile was going to come back into the fold because they was already first. But we want to be Jew. We want to be Baptist. All these groups we want to be in. I'm talking people in America. Maybe they can have my skin color. I don't know. They can be white. If you didn't grow up in that heritage, don't let the church hurt you so bad that you got to go and try to find yourself in some other type of religion. That's what you need to get away from. Religion. Religion is the biggest deception and divider of God's people as it is. God knew that when he took Abraham, set him apart because you Negroes got to acting crazy and built the tower. You people got to acting crazy and built the tower. Let me just set somebody off for me. For me. To be set apart. In this day and time, to be set apart, that means you got to do what he did. You got to walk away. You got to leave family. You got to leave friends. You got to leave all this other crazy circles. You got to leave. You don't know yourself. You got to know yourself in God. Now, I'm not saying that you got to be disrespectful or you got to tell people, God told me to leave you just like Abraham left his family, or God told, Pastor Jones told me that I don't need to be. I'm not saying none of that. All I'm saying is if you don't know yourself, you need to get somewhere where you do know yourself. Abraham knew himself. Even his father noticed it, that he knew himself. His father running around with everybody else. Abraham was set apart from that foolishness because Abraham knew who he was. And that's why Paul recognized that out of Abraham and told them, look, before this covenant came, it was just promises, baby. Because of what? Verse 4. So Abraham departed as the Lord has spoken unto him, and Lot with him. And Abraham was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. And Abram took Sarah his wife and Lot his brother's son and all their business, all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in and Haran, and they went forth to go into the land of Canaan and into the land and into the land of Canaan. To go into the land of Canaan and into the land of Canaan. They came. So, check this out, people. It was 14 commands to Abraham, right? Get out of your country, leave your kindred, leave your family father's house, go to the land where I will show you. Arise, walk through the land. This is going into chapter 13. Chapter 15, make a sacrifice to me. Chapter 17, walk before me and be perfect. Chapter 17 again, keep my covenant. Circumcise all your males. Chapter 17. Before we get to chapter 17, there is no covenant. So what's up? So what is he? Is he black? White? Who cares? Is he yellow? Is he a Jew? Is he an Israelite? No, he's a Gentile. I'm gonna show you why. I'm gonna show you something else. This is something that, man, we never ever seen before. Now, when it comes down to circumcision of all the males, it was in chapter 17, verse 10 to 14. Then when he got in chapter 17, verse 19, call your son's name Isaac. Chapter 21, obey your wife in this matter, some situation. Chapter 22, offer Isaac as a sacrifice. Lay not your hand upon Isaac. Look, people. Abraham had faith, righteous faith. He had the righteousness of faith before anything, because he did as he was told. But look how good-hearted Abraham was. Now, don't get me wrong, Abraham did some old crazy stuff, having his wife to lie to the Egyptians and tell them that that's his sister instead of his wife because she was beautiful, and he figured they were gonna kill him. He lied. He wasn't perfect. But check this out, people. Now, this has been fulfilled many times and will be eternally fulfilled in the millennium and the new earth. Now, I want you to understand that this has been fulfilled, that his blessing, his seed has blessed the whole earth. Who is his seed? Jesus Christ. Okay. Now, when it comes down to when he says the souls that they had gotten in Iran. What do you think he means? The souls. So he was, hold on. You telling me this Gentile was winning souls? He was winning souls, people. He was bringing people to God. Check this out. This refers to the share of Abraham's inheritance of the death of Terah. Now, Terah was his dad, as well as to the converts he made at Haran, who wanted to go along with him to share God's blessing that was promised. So you mean to tell me he got some outside folks to share in the blessing? You mean to tell me that, God? Hey, so you mean to tell me that, Abram, you got some outside folks? Why you get them? He say, I'm gonna bless the whole world. So I'm gonna start now because I know who I am. Okay, Abraham. All right, my bad. This is what's going on in this lesson, people. Abraham knows himself. He was saving souls because they was all into a whole bunch of idolatry. They was doing so much other stuff. They was doing a whole bunch of other stuff that don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. Hold on, people. Real quick. Now, there were many slaves. They weren't a part of his family. Among them, at least 318 trained soldiers. They weren't a part of his family. And their wives and families, and besides the many who belonged to Lot. The 318 were born in Abraham's house of 636 fathers and mothers who no doubt also had other children. All these families together made a great throng, perhaps several thousand. So you mean to tell me this Gentile man was saving souls, saving families, even before Christ? This man had so much faith in the promise, you couldn't tell him nothing. He shared it with them. Hold on, people. He shared it with them. He shared the promise, all because the faith that this man had. Because this man, Abram, before his name was Abraham, this man Abram, before his name was Abraham, knew who he was. He became a father of many nations. A father of many nations. That's why they always say your forefathers this, your forefathers that. He was fathers of Gentiles and Jews alike. He's the father of all of us. Look, people, all I'm saying, all the Spirit is saying, people, is that these ceremonies, these rituals, they had to be done in that time. That was for them. God was setting them apart from the others. And when in setting something apart, they had to be different. That's why a lot of folks, they they get so emotional when somebody say you're different. You uh you don't know why some people just don't like you and this and that is because you anointed and because you different. No, it's because you don't know yourself. He ain't got to tell you that because God will show you that. But we so emotional and so filled up with drama that we feed on that. This Bible is going to tell you who you are. It's going to show you who you are. This is not a game, people. You know how many pastors and prophets say that same old stupid stuff? Look, we all are different. We all are set apart from the time of Babel. We all have been confounded and we all have to go into that path to get to where we know ourselves in Christ. I don't care how many roads it is, it's going to always lead to Christ. So, if you want to sit up there and continue in that foolishness, I'm set apart. Woo-de-woo. You better be set apart. You better be set apart. Look, man, I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm not a mean person. I don't deal with foolishness. I watch and I listen and I keep it pushing, especially at work, right? So a lot of guys be like, man, I've been watching you, man. You don't say you don't deal with people like that. I said, no, it ain't that I don't deal with people. It's just I know who they are and I know who I am. I said, what you mean? I said, I know that they up to some foolishness. If they up to some foolishness, I'm not gonna deal with them at all because I know who I am, and it's better that I don't deal with you because I know who I am. Now, Robert, Robert, that's what I'm talking about. Pastor Rob, I deal with you all day when it's dealing with God, but when it's dealing with this outside foolishness and drama, Robert ain't going. Robert ain't going. I don't have time for that. But Pastor Robert Jones, oh man, you coming with that word? You need some knowledge. We're gonna spit. But that other stuff, mm-mm. See, when you get to the point that you know yourself, you know who to conversate with, who not to. You know who to come with Christ to, and who not to. We are not here to push our views and points on people. We are here to educate. We are here to exhort, encourage, and exhort, encourage, and inspire to people to get to know God and get to know God for themselves. That's what we here for. Not all this other garbage. So, people, I see y'all in the morning, bright and early. We're gonna discuss some more things and finding out who you are. I don't know. I might go on here and tell you who you are. Look, I love y'all, man. Y'all have a good night. I'm gonna get myself together, man. Shoot. It's been a long day. Remember tomorrow, OTN73. Tomorrow, we doing it again because of the holidays. So I love y'all, man. Y'all have a good night. Rest easy. I'll see y'all in the morning. I'll leave you with this. If you don't know you, get to know you. But if you don't know God, get to know God. And you'll find out who you are. Amen.